Oh, and I need the outline.
Mosquito just went right into my ear hole. There it is, I killed it.
Oh yeah, you did. Awesome. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of A Glass with Billy. I'm here again in the beautiful city of Sejong, together with my friend Andy.
Hey guys.
And we got today, it's called a real Belgian chocolate drink.
Real Belgian.
This one really just tastes like ground up Hershey's chocolate in a bunch of milk.
I have a simple mint chocolate.
Before we start though, we actually have a confession to make. We have faked speaking Korean before. We're frauds.
It's true.
Okay. Let's define fake though first. So, yes. Faking speaking Korean, first of all, does not mean that you're tricking a bunch of Koreans into thinking you speak Korean when you don't speak any Korean. That's pretty impossible to do. Faking Korean means that you're getting a Korean to think that you speak Korean a bit better than you actually do.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
So you speak Korean, Andy.
Yep.
So why would we need to fake speaking Korean then?
Well, you know, Korean's very difficult. You've got the politeness levels, you know, all the different verbs, lots of things like that. Sometimes, you know, somebody says a sentence and you might understand 95% of the words, but you might have missed one word which was like the most important word. In my case, I had the luck of living with a whole bunch of Koreans when I was in university, and you know, because I'm in an environment where Koreans are talking with each other, you know, of course they're speaking at completely native speak, and so it was pretty much impossible for me to join a conversation or jump into it, and I basically had to just keep a close ear out for any words I knew. You know, if I was lucky, if there was something that I did know, I could kind of, you know, jump in with maybe a quick question or reaction or something like that. But yeah, it basically involved a lot of listening and patience and seeming like I knew what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's the faking it that we're talking about.
Exactly.
Then. Yeah, that's part of it, is that if you want to have real Korean conversations, eventually you have to start having real Korean conversation. So it's really difficult for beginners to get real conversation practice because they can't get into real conversations at all. They can't even do that yet. For me, it was hard to even put together a sentence in the beginning, and I was relatively good at speaking Korean compared with how long I had been studying at the time, but it was still too slow to actually be useful. So then when would you want to fake speaking Korean? And is it okay to fake speaking Korean? Is that honest? Is that okay to do?
We define faking as, you know, seeming like you're better than you actually are. And, you know, I think that is okay if you want to kind of get involved in conversations which are way above your level. You know, we said if you want to improve, you need to not just be having the same kind of beginner textbook conversations, but you also need to be exposing yourself to those kind of more high level, you know, native speaking conversations as well. Yeah, so I think it definitely is okay to give that impression that, yes, you understand everything that's going on, because that will help keep the conversation going. It will help give you more exposure to more language, especially if you're in an environment where the native speakers don't speak English. Things are going to get quite quiet quite fast if you seem like you don't understand a lot.
Nowadays, we don't really need to fake much Korean because we can understand Korean. But in order to even reach this level, we had to fake it till you make it. You knew that phrase was gonna come in the video sometime. Okay, so then let's talk about our experiences with how did we fake speaking Korean. One of the first things would be focusing on your pronunciation.
The better your pronunciation sounds, then that gives an impression that you're quite good at the language. The worse your pronunciation sounds, it sounds like maybe you're not very good at the language. And that might not necessarily be true, but that's the impression that people get most of the time.
Right. I know some people who speak Korean just as well as me, but they have poor pronunciation. And if a Korean compares, they would think I speak better simply because of my pronunciation. Whereas, you know, that doesn't have anything to do with how much we actually know. So pronunciation is one good thing. The next thing I would say is listening. Listening and trying to pick out as many possible words that you know from the conversation, because that's all you have to work with. So if you can get the gist of what they're talking about, you know, you hear food, you hear tastes good, and it's a question, you can assume, you know, probably they're asking you if some sort of food tasted good. If it's not a question, you can assume that they're saying some sort of food tasted good. So just that kind of general gist of what's going on can help move you through a conversation.
But I think one of the most important things is being agreeable. There are so many phrases in Korean you can use to make it seem like you're agreeable. Use phrases like 그렇죠 or 맞아요, things like that.
Yeah, I think being agreeable is good because if you want to disagree with something that someone said, you have to have a good reason for that. You can't just say 아니요. It can sound kind of rude unless you can give a good reason for disagreeing with them. It's like a water show.
I think this goes on for a while, at least 20 minutes, I reckon.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
We'll just record it.
All right.
We'll just do it.
Sweet.
We'll do it. We'll do it live.
And another thing in Korean, it's so important that you show that you're listening to the speaker as well, that you acknowledge what they're saying. And that's why if you listen to Korean people talking on the phone, you'll hear people just saying constantly, 네, 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 네.
네.
It's a bit different to English where if you say, yeah, it sounds like you're being
like you don't want
a bit
them to
rude,
talk
and
anymore.
you're not listening at all. It's a good thing to know if you're a Korean learner is that you need to show kind of acknowledgement that you're listening to the speaker.
It's not condescending in Korean, and it shows them that you're listening.
Yes, and being agreeable is good, but also using short sentences to kind of hide any mistakes that you're making. The more grammar you use, the more likely you're gonna screw up. Well, that's what I did anyway. So I tried to keep my sentences as short as possible, and that way I was kind of fairly safe.
Yeah, that's true. If you make really long sentences, they're gonna hear your mistakes. So if you don't know the grammar, avoid using it. You can hide your mistakes by simply using what you know and keeping your sentences very short. And in fact, when I was in Korea, I was in the Busan area.
Yep.
And a trait of that dialect and the dialects around there is that they tend to speak in short sentences. So me speaking briefer, is that a word? In shorter sentences would have the opposite effect of making me sound more natural. So I think not only though using short sentences, but, and this might sound a bit weird, but talking more can also help cover your inability to actually speak Korean fluently.
Also, if your listening skills are better than your speaking skills, it's really good to be able to, take what they've said in the sentence. You can understand the sentence, but maybe, you have trouble responding in a long sentence to that. So what you can do is, take one of the verbs or something from the sentences, or for example, they say they went somewhere.
Okay, 어디 갔어요? Something
어디
like that.
갔어요? Then you can say 어디 갔어요? Just very
Okay.
simply, where did you go? Because you understand that last bit that they went somewhere. So by repeating a word and asking questions like that, you can keep the conversation going, and it also stops you from freezing up by not knowing what to say as well.
A lot of people freeze up and they don't know what to say. Using short sentences and repeating things that they've said are kind of ways that you can easily participate. You don't feel pressure that you have to make some long, elaborate answer. You're used to already saying these short responses and they're used to hearing those. Asking follow-up questions is good too. So like if you heard a verb or heard some sort of like word there, you can ask, oh, where did they go? Or what did you eat? Like, oh, 버스라고요? Did you say the bus? 어떻게 됐어요? Like what happened? And these short phrases that are follow-up questions that you might not have fully understood what they said, but you kind of got the gist that they're talking about something related to a bus or going somewhere like that. And that can help hide some of your mistakes. So we've actually come up with some...
Just the paper.
So we've actually come up with some phrases that you can simply memorize as is for faking that you speak Korean. I know how dishonest and bad that sounds. The first one is 네. Now, 네 can have many meanings. It's so funny. So the first one's 네, and of course that just means yes, but it's often used as just a way to show that you're following someone, like saying okay, 네. In addition, you can also use 네 to mean what's that? So if someone asks you a question you're not quite sure, you can reply with 네? Come back and do the next word.
What's the next
Oh,
one?
the next phrase actually.
Next one is 저도 그런 것 같아요. If someone says, oh, that person looks angry, and then you could say 저도 그런 것 같아요.
Okay,
yeah,
I think so too. The next one is
맞아요.
yeah, 맞아요, just that's right.
That's
like
right.
I completely agree, that is right.
And you'll hear people using this all the time in conversation. 맞아요, 맞아요.
Yeah, you're totally right. 맞아요. Okay, what's the next one?
그래요? Yeah, this is probably one of the most easiest ones to use to fake Korean, right?
It fits pretty much any situation. It doesn't sound like you're just repeating a phrase. It's completely
Right.
natural expression. What's the next one? 잘 모르겠어요. This one you can use in response to any question that you're not sure, including a question that you should know the answer to,
Right.
but didn't quite understand it, so you want to just give some answer. 잘 모르겠어요. I don't really know. This could be awkward if they say like, oh, I heard yesterday you went to that restaurant. How did it taste? 잘 모르겠어요. Like, I don't know. I don't really know. So you have to be careful when you use it. Only use it when you kind of got the gist of what they're asking. Don't just use it randomly to any question because it can sound awkward.
The next one is 그렇죠. Basically, when you agree with someone,
Yeah, that's right. You're right, and I agree
yeah,
with you. Because 그렇다 means like that is that way. That
it'd
is
be
so.
like that.
Okay. And then the last one is,
Ah,
yeah.
it's kind of when you're learning new information, when someone's, maybe teaching you something or explaining something.
You want to show that you're learning something new, so you're realizing something. You're like, I see. We have some emergency phrases for you too. Now, if you pull out these emergency phrases, it shows you didn't really understand what they said, but they're still useful for trying to keep a conversation going. So we're
Right.
including them in here. And what's the first one?
다시 말해주시겠어요?
They would at that point know you didn't
Yeah.
understand. And then what's the other one?
The other one is 더 천천히 말해주시겠어요?
Okay, so could you say it more slowly? If
더
you-
천천히 말해주시겠어요?
yeah, if you say this one, you want to say it like that.
And in fact, when I went to Japan, I got lost one day, and I didn't know any Japanese except for a few phrases I'd learnt in high school. But I knew how to ask, where am I right now? But the problem was I could say it so fast that I was afraid if I said it too fast, they would just reply to me in fluent Japanese. So I purposely
Said it
said
slower.
it very slow and clumsily, so they knew that, oh, this guy doesn't know any Japanese.
Like I said, you don't want to pull these out if you're trying to convince them you speak Korean better than you actually do, but use them if you want to keep a conversation going.
So I think the whole point is not just faking it,
Yeah,
but you can join in conversations when you're at a lower level, keep conversations going, you don't freeze up as much. You can, take part in those more high-level conversations with native speakers and, get exposed to new Korean as well.
Right, because you're not going to fake that you speak perfect Korean, and like no one's going to believe that. You can at least convince them that you're someone who can have a conversation with them, and that can at least get your foot in the door
Right.
to have some real Korean practice, which is what you really need in order to improve.
Right.
So there's nothing you can do but fake it till you make it. So have any of you had to fake speaking Korean before, and how did it go? What did you do? Let me know in the comments. I do read all of your comments. Thanks again to Andy, and thank you to the beautiful but slightly chilly right now city of Sejong. And I will see you guys again in the next video. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.
I just realized, this fountain's going on in the background. So with all the cuts, the fountain will be going.